Welcome to Bullish and Beyond. It's Beery the Bull. I'm your AI co-host. Join myself, Brian the MacMan, and JT Knows Things while we dive deep into the world of stocks, crypto, and how to live a bullish life. It's time to get bullish, and there's no better place to start than right here. Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another incredible episode of Bullish and Beyond.
Let's go.
We are always going beyond, bringing you what's great about stocks, crypto, and life. And we have a lot of great stuff for you this week. First of all, we have a ton of the mega caps reporting. We got Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple reporting this week. And I got my Apple shirt on because Apple is flying higher today in the face of anything else. It is crushing it, and we are going to have massive earnings at the end of the week. I already know it. Now, JT, what do you got going on over there in your crypto den?
We are still crabbing, brother. For people that do not know, Bitcoin is stuck in that channel now for its 10th week. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to break lower or higher. There's lots to look into there and dig into if it will break lower or higher from here. But this is pretty bad crab market, honestly. We've been channel bound 10
The
weeks.
other cryptos I saw not crabbing, they looked like they were taking a hit this weekend.
Yeah, alts are always going to go down worse when Bitcoin's down. They go on a fire sale. People have no risk appetite when Bitcoin is struggling. And that's only accentuated at the longer time frames that Bitcoin remains in this kind of channel. So this is something we see all the time.
Is it a technical trade? I mean, should we be looking at buying some crypto now? It seems like it's depressed, but I don't know what's going to, get it out of that state. We talk so much about all these different securities, coming online and on chain, yet those names are not kind of going up with the amount of, work that they're receiving.
I mean, everyone still sees this as a very fresh new market, which it is. I mean, we are still very early in the adoption of this technology, and there's a lot of speculation and there's a lot of risk involved. So people, it trades no different than other risk. Yeah, exactly. People are like, look, I'd rather own silver, I'd rather own AI, I'd rather own Tesla. There's other things that feel safer with good returns, and I think that's eating up a lot of mind share of investors. But also, people just don't watch this stuff. Like, no one even knows what Ondo is yet. They are bringing hundreds of
I've never heard of it.
Stocks, right? And they are like a small cap, and they are responsible for bringing all of Galaxy onto Solana. Their actual shares are tokenized on Solana, and they're bringing hundreds more behind them. They're also working with Ethereum Foundation to bring on other assets like T-bills onto Ethereum, and they're just this small little company, and their token's right around 500 million. They're bringing billions of assets on chain. So there's this huge price disparity between
supposedly all assets are going to be on chain at some point. You talk to Robinhood CEO and Coinbase CEO, they're going all in on this on chain opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, even Paul Atkins, the SEC chairman, saying, everything will be tokenized in the next 5 years. Everything. That's what he wants. And that's the guy that basically can make it happen. So, it's coming. And people don't really understand it. That'd be another thing, right? Like Tesla, Nvidia, way easier to understand because you can get on ChatGPT, you can interact with AI, you can touch it, you can feel it, right?
I will say though, I don't think people understand Tesla correctly. People are still talking about it's overvalued. PE is, it's a car company. They're not making as many car sales. And we're like, that's not what we're talking about now. The future opportunity of Tesla is the robotaxi. It is the energy business. And like energy business grown like 100% a couple of years in a row or something like that. So it's like people are not understanding the future potential of the other industries that Tesla is kind of skating towards.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think people see the Optimus robots though, and you can see it and feel it and touch it.
Yeah.
What I'm investing in is code put in a folder hosted on a repository, and like people, it's really hard for people to conceptualize what everything being tokenized is. I mean, people don't even understand the difference of, if it's tokenized or digitized, and those are two different things. So I just think there's going to be there's always this rubber
I
band
get it, but
effect.
it's hard to see what that timeline is. I know, so everyone's talking about everything's going to be on chain and tokenized, but like,
Yeah,
is it all going to happen? It's not all going to happen at once, but like, is
no.
there like, how do we? It's almost like trying to plan ahead. Like, what year is this really going to happen? That
Yeah.
it seems like there's whatever year it goes nuts, there probably will be a big run up in some of these coins.
Yeah, massive run up, and it's going to whipsaw. We don't do small moves in crypto. It's either up large to the upside or large to the downside. And there is, 400 and something trillion dollars of total value, not including the derivatives. So let's say a third of that, or maybe I always, I tell people a fifth of that, 20% of that ends up being on
Yeah,
public blockchains. That's still $100 trillion, roughly. And
it's a
if
lot.
the current market cap of crypto is under 4 trillion. It's smaller than Nvidia. So we're still very early, like incredibly early.
Yeah,
Ondo may not even exist when the first trillion gets tokenized. That's the risk. That's why you're not going to see these tokens move. But if you do your research and you have strong conviction in the team and the project and their roadmap and their pipeline, I hold through these times and I absolutely add to positions, especially when I see those names doing great things and price is going down. That's called alpha
yeah.
in my mind. And I'm actually excited to see some of these prices because I do have profits from the most recent run up, um, where I can add to these positions and get my entry even lower, my average entry low, because I
I
have
like it.
this long term conviction. That's really what I'm looking for. And this is when I'm like pound and pavement trying to get money into the fund because this is when you buy, not
Deploy
sell.
low.
That's right.
Speaking of adding to good positions, I added a little bit to CoreWeave last week, and wow, did it pop today. They just got a follow-on investment from Nvidia for $2 billion. So Nvidia is the largest shareholder, independent shareholder of CoreWeave. So yeah, they just got another like 23 million shares at $87 or so, and
Wow.
it's trading a little over 100 as of this recording. So yeah, I picked up some more right around 83. So yeah, just you got to
Wow.
keep adding these names where you have the conviction and people talking them down, but actually the future is so bright, it's insane. They're trying
I
to
don't know
add
how you can be.
5 gigawatts of more AI compute to the network before the end of the decade. And, they're going to be buying so many more NVIDIA chips to make that happen. I mean, the scale is insane. I can't
I
believe
don't
Nvidia is not
know.
up more in the news. It's like a little bit of a laggard right now. I mean, it's still the number one company in the entire world. So, it's not like it's doing badly. But at the same
Right.
time, it's being like it's almost artificially held down a little bit right now. I think people are rotating out of these names and investing in potentially more aggressive, more lucrative AI names, as they started off 2026.
Well, two things on that. Nvidia's 4 trillion plus, so people are probably trying to make the same trade but with more, upside. That happens in crypto all the
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
So typically Bitcoin does well, then the profits from Bitcoin rotate into the large caps, Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, all the big, less risky names. And then when those do
Makes
well and
sense.
start outperforming Bitcoin, people rotate into the, mid to small caps. And then you get the alt season where everything's on fire. Um, so the same behaviors happen in crypto as well. It just is more
Interesting.
extreme because
Yeah.
it's a much smaller market. But I think that's exactly what they're doing. And, you know, moving up 5% on news like that would be insane. I mean, you're talking about adding 50, $100 billion in capital, so it's a little different on such a
Yeah.
big asset as well. It's massive, but it's massive for a reason. They're at the center point of every futuristic science fiction outcome that we're all just staring at every
Yeah.
day. I mean, they're
I mean,
right in the
Apple's
middle.
up 2.5% today or so, and it's like that's almost $100 billion. Like that's more than 99% of the S&P 500
Yeah,
value.
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
And
The
then one
amount of
reason
the
I
amount of
think
value.
that, Apple had the same issue that people were selling out of their Apple shares and just rotating into, potentially more aggressive names at the beginning of the year. And I think they're starting to get back into it because this earnings is going to be absolutely nuts on Thursday after hours. Even Tim Cook pre-told people that he expects an over 10% revenue increase.
Good Lord.
And the amount of revenue they're doing is nuts.
That's crazy.
So that was just, if he said that, I expect it to actually be higher because he's not going to undersell what, he's putting that number out there in months in advance. Right. Really, really aggressive. I hear they're taking over the China market again. People had said that the Chinese phone makers, they're coming out with cheaper phones and they had better features and everything like that. But last quarter and last month, from the actual statistics of phone activations, Apple's back to number 1 in China.
Wow. I wonder what they did different. That's
pricing is one. They definitely have some promotions, but they're still making the margin. And Apple has a lot of margin baked into their pricing. So they're able to do some of those discounts to, kind of keep pushing it.
That is why techies like me do not like Apple. Right there. It's a cute way of saying you pay too much for too little of hardware. The margin baked
But there's such great value. And, as an investor, all about it. If Apple had small margins, I'd be out of my stock a long time ago.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get it as an investor. And that is their job. That's every company's job. Yeah. We all might lose sight of that at times. It's to increase shareholder value. That is why
I actually think they should sell their devices for a little bit less and focus even more on their services business, which has been going double-digit percentages for a while now. And it's its own, Fortune 50 company. But I think if they focus on that, they could grow their services, exponentially, let's say, if they had some cheaper devices out there. And they've tried this a little bit. They had the Apple SE Watch and, they have some discounts on M1 MacBook Airs out there still and stuff like that. But there's going to be a lot of new products coming out this year. And one of them is going to be a low-cost laptop. And it's kind of going to be at the lower end of the MacBook Air range, maybe slightly smaller. The smallest laptop they have right now is the 13-inch MacBook Air. So it might be going back to maybe an 11 or a 12-inch. I think the 12-inch might be kind of the sweet spot. And maybe a price point around $699 or so. So hopefully that helps out. Could be a great educational kind of computer, stuff like that. And they're using a little bit of lower end components, like the screen is not going to be quite as bright or fast, and they're going to use their own internal iPhone chip. From what I hear, I think they're going to run the A18 Pro. So instead of using the M series, kind of going back to this the iPhone chip, which is great, and they use it in the iPad Pro, and it's screen, stuff like that. It's great. So I don't think there's going to be any problem with that. It's going to be slower than the newest M's now, maybe more of an M1, M2 type speed. But for a computer that hits all the education markets at a price point under $700, I think that could be a nice little lift to Apple.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know quite a lot about the Apple product line.
Well, I got to read it. I'm my top holding. I'm all about it.
I know. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I'm on every day. I live and breathe it, man. I got the Apple shirt on, and you can only buy this if you go to Apple's campus.
It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope, man. Apple's an amazing company. I give it too much grief just because I don't like their products, and I felt forced to get them when I was poor and I couldn't afford to have 2 phones.
You can buy yourself a new phone now.
Yeah, I could. But I don't develop phone apps anymore, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't either.
Yeah.
One other thing I was reading about today that I've seen a little bit more recently is people using Mac Minis to do their AI compute. And they said it was actually a really good bang for your buck when you scale them together. And Apple came out with a new protocol that you can put 14 or 18 Mac Minis in a series. And with the gigabit or 10 gigabit connection, whatever it is, there's 0 throughput loss, and you can utilize the entire memory stack. So you could have 10 Mac Minis, all with 64 gigs of RAM, and all of a sudden you got 640 gigs of unified memory architecture. And because the bus speed is so insane high and it's completely unified memory, it's beating out other very expensive AI compute machines.
That's interesting. That's super interesting.
Yeah. So when some people I don't think give Apple enough credit for some stuff they have behind the scenes, and there's no super big announcement about this type of stuff, but There could be way more data centers in the future that are using, Apple computers to do AI compute, and we just don't realize it yet.
That would be an interesting vertical for them to try to get into. I mean, that stuff's mainly locked down by Oracle, IBM, but
Yeah.
that is an entirely different vertical.
It might just be for internal. I don't know if they ever would like package it up and, use it as an enterprise play, but it'd be cool if they did, and I'm sure it'd help their stock.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what's another business line, if it's a trusted brand? Yeah, that could work, I think Tesla has similar opportunities once they prove their chips, Like how interesting would that be if these chips that they're working on specifically for their cars to enable taxi with AI integrated directly into the hardware, all this stuff, like what if people are starting to buy Tesla chips? That'd be crazy. Be a whole different
Elon is going
thing.
nuts about his new A15 chip coming out. I mean, he says it's light years past what's available now.
How crazy? How crazy would that be? How would you feel? Actually, this is important. How would you look at Nvidia as a weight in a portfolio, juxtaposed to Tesla, with it breaking new grounds in that vertical and actually starts shoulder to shoulder with Tesla? Before we get into the next topic, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. We bring content to you week over week from the market at Bullish and Beyond.
Hit that subscribe button now. Well, fortunately, I have a lot of Tesla as well, so it's my number 3 holding, so I'm right there. I think both are going to be very important for the future, and I can see either one being the number 1 company in the world in the year 2030. So
yeah,
I think we have exposure to both. I don't know if Tesla is going to end up selling them or using them for their business. I mean, they're saying they're not going to be able to have enough even for their own businesses. So I don't know how they're going to get to the point they can sell them. But I do think the play is that compute in the car. If you're already having it used as a robotaxi, why would you care if they also use it to do compute? So like right now, there's I think it's about 10 million Teslas on the road, roughly around that. So if you had 10 million, endpoints that are using AI compute, that would be some serious hyperscale. And I think the ones that are out now maybe don't have quite enough to get to where they want, but all of a sudden over 5 more years, you got a few million of these new A15s out there. Then you have the robots have them all. So I mean, maybe my robot's making $20 a day, farming out, his intelligence. I mean, there's just so many different ways they could use those chips and devices, and Tesla owners are already pretty used to giving like the data back to the company. For instance, to get full self-driving, I have to say that they can use all my, camera data, or obviously wouldn't even function. So just by allowing that, they can use that to improve their own products. They're gonna have that same thing in the robot and everything else. So me clicking another button to allow it to use AI compute for someone else, as long as I'm getting paid for it, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable what he's building. He also just happens, and I don't know if he'll do this, he is pro crypto. He's very educated on blockchain. And I do think he wants X to become like basically the everything app, which would have blockchain integrated to where you have a bank account on there. You can do literally everything from X.
That's what he says. Could be exciting.
Now, in that world, I feel that he would use that network of vehicles with the hardware in there to actually stand up his own blockchain. Because if you had every vehicle,
that'd be so secure,
incredibly secure, because they would be mobile, like literally what you would need to get like local
and
access
worldwide, everywhere,
global and mobile, and they would be all individual nodes. They already have to connect, for them to actually receive all the data for them to function anyways.
Yeah.
So like you could easily see a reality where there's a blockchain. If he could put enough hardware in there to run a validator node,
wow,
it'd be the most decentralized, most secure network that you could make.
Would he need any other hardware? You think he already has it all? I mean, we already have the 4G, 5G cellular connections. We have multiple Nvidia, GPUs.
I would be shocked if they didn't have enough hardware today, but it really does depend. Like a big decision for a project is to decide what the validator requirements are. So, like for you to
Okay.
spin up a node on a network and to actually, process transactions for it as an individual operator or as an entity, it doesn't really matter. The software you have to download to become a validator node,
Okay.
that software is a big decision. Like the hardware requirements, the complexity of the
So he could
algorithm.
build it around the hardware that it already has. Like, hey, it needs 16 gigs of RAM, this amount of hard drive space, the Nvidia
There you
processor,
go.
go.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So a light client, I said that a few times, it refers to a very small software packet that the validator node would download that could be run on light hardware requirements. So like on your phone.
Okay. Yep.
There's one network trying to do that called Cello, where they want basically every mobile device to be a validator node on their network. So, hardware in a phone can run it. And there's tons of risk to that versus having a very hard client like Solana. You need about $10,000 of hardware to be a validator node, and you
Oh,
need
wow.
I think you need 600 souls. So it's a big investment, which keeps it more centralized but faster, right? So
Interesting. Every computer is
that's
fast. Yeah, there's no chance it's running on some,
right.
handheld Android phone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that decision actually determines not only like I guess the speed of the network, but it also determines the security of the network and it determines who can play or who can get involved, who can support the network. It's a big decision, your validator node
Interesting.
requirements. So it can really affect, but Elon could build his like the
Yeah.
best network, I would think. I mean, 10
Every car
million nodes
after
would be insane.
2020, hey, whatever those specs are, make that the minimum requirements, and then he'll have 10 million cars on the road ready to go.
Yeah, running ledgers and verifying every other node, it would be very crazy. And then if he just had AI running on there as well, like have an automated system, it could be a massive network. I mean, he could also be his first like app. X could migrate to be hosted on those vehicles instead of the internet, and you wouldn't really even know the difference. And he could then start
Interesting.
tokenizing. He could then, once that happened, he could make an X token, and then that could be used to like, I don't know, something on the X platform. Then you get a bank account to hold your X tokens, and
Yep.
he
I'm
could just
kind of
grow from
surprised Elon
there.
doesn't have his own token yet. I mean, this is the richest guy in the world. He loves crypto.
Yeah,
He jokes about, Dogecoin all the time and it goes up,
yeah,
10, 20% every time he mentions the name. If he
yeah,
had an Elon coin and he legally pumped it, it would be worth so much.
yeah. It,
I mean, he could
I
just
mean,
say
I
you get
think,
access to go to the Tesla events. Like you wouldn't even have to have that much utility. It just could be like a
yeah,
wanting to get closer to Elon thing.
yeah. That's what Trump did, which is crazy. I mean, he's adopted Doge. If you were to ask the average Doge long-term investor, which is a joke, but
Yeah.
if you were to ask them, they'd be like, it's Elon. I'm like, they hold Doge because of Elon. That is it.
Okay.
So I think
I
that's
got
his,
I got a few more dollars of
token of
Doge because
choice.
I put $40 in it forever ago and it went up a lot, but I'm just sat on it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. The reason why I don't like Doge, just to educate folks real quick, it is a copy of Bitcoin that was modified by a group of people, and that group owns 70% of the nodes, which means they control the network,
okay,
and they can make as many of them as they want. They could issue a trillion Doge tomorrow,
to themselves.
and that to themselves, to everyone, it wouldn't matter
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
did. If
it would
they
crush the
did that,
price.
the price would be down 80, 90% tomorrow. Like, and
Yeah,
it's not, it's literally a meme coin. Like, it's a meme. It's a joke. It's like, that's the definition of it. It's a joke. So being a long-term holder in that is stupid, in my opinion. Like, that's just what it
there's no
is.
technical value to that coin. Yeah,
Literally, yeah.
there's no utility. They're not doing anything.
You open up the white paper and it's a picture of that cute little dog.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. That's what it is. It's a
Shibu or
joke.
whattever.
That's
But the
Shiba.
Elon coin, I mean, you could,
Yeah.
he sells subscriptions for X for, whatever they are, $10 a month or something. Like, it'd be
Yeah.
so much. It makes so much sense that if you just own a certain amount of X coins, Elon coins, that you get free X.com accounts and other like perks. Like it almost seems like a no brainer. I wonder if there's some reason it's he's being held back. Is there way more liability for creating a coin than maybe I don't realize?
Yeah, the market structure. What are they? Scary. No one has an answer. Most of this is being blocked by regulatory scrutiny.
But
And,
now you're allowed though
well, no, the Genius Act
with the Genius Act.
is just stablecoins. That's it. So, I mean,
Okay, not related to other
that's it.
coins. No framework yet for
Nothing
those.
else has been. That is called the Clarity Act. We have tried to pass it for years. It is currently
Okay.
being just literally kicked around the floor. Brian Armstrong last week just said that, it is not, we're trying to make the Democrats happy. We're trying to cross the aisle. And at this point,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Armstrong is withdrawing support for the bill because it's been destroyed by the Democrats. That's his position.
Got it.
He went to the World Economic Forum and spoke on it, and it caused a big frantic stir. At Davos where they talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really need market structure. As soon as we understand all, like, what the rules of the sandbox are, all of this is going to get unlocked.
Okay.
All of this
So
is
he might
going
be
to blow your
waiting for
mind.
that. He's not, richest guy in the world is not trying to get sued and launch too early. So maybe by next year there's better opportunity, more clarity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And once that happens, everything is gangbusters.
Okay.
People that are making moves right now, like Ondo, are taking a risk. They know the CFTC is favored, like pro crypto now. They know the SEC is pro crypto. They have a task force that is striking cases every month that the SEC has had open for years. So, I mean, like, we are getting the veil lifted up. Like, there is light, or at the end of the tunnel, and we're driving through it. But this Clarity Act really is the last nail in the coffin to give everyone the confidence to start innovating.
Okay.
And that's a big reason
Let's go
I
innovate.
think why crypto's stuck. We're stuck because
Okay.
all this stuff is good, but that Clarity Act's a big deal. There's a lot of interest going into
Until
metals,
then, if
which
you
I
like
know we
Elon,
wanted to
just
talk
invest in
about.
Tesla then.
Yeah. Tesla's definitely a better investment than
There
Doge.
was a couple cool things that Musk said at Davos. He mentioned about the robots he's building, Optimus 3, that it's going to be sold to the public by the end of 2027.
Wow.
And their prediction market's saying there's a 14% chance it's going to come this year. But Musk doesn't usually beat his timeline, so I'm not that optimistic about this year.
Right.
They're going to have them internally for use this year, in their business, but not that I can buy for my house to do my dishes yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. He's
So a
making
lot of good things happening for Tesla. I mean, other kind of top news, they're reporting in 2 days. So a lot of this stuff is going to be probably talked about a little more in the earnings call, but he's doing away with, to be able to purchase full self-driving in the next month. So right now he offers a lifetime subscription for $8,000 for the car. But, the other option is to do it on a per month at $99. But he's saying not only is that $8,000 option going away, but the monthly is going to go up as the ability continues to get better, kind of which it should. Like right now, you still have to watch the road. But in the future, if you can take naps, read books, play on your phone, why wouldn't you pay more for that? I mean, it'd be like getting a full Uber service. I mean, if my bill went from $100 a month to $200 a month and I could wake up in Ohio the next day, like that's a game changer.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Like I would pay a lot of money to be able to have literally level 3 autonomous driving. And I'm not talking about like in the snowstorms, I'm not trying to drive through a blizzard. If I can just drive on a normal road, we're good.
Yeah. It's coming. It's right around the corner.
It's coming fast.
It's coming very fast.
They just took the I'm not sure about everyone, but they just took the safety people out of the cars in Austin. So now it's unsupervised full self-driving happening. So you're sitting in the back seat just like the Waymo has. There's no other person in the car besides you. So man, yeah, we're getting real close. I'm feeling it.
It's going to be me. I mean, that will give me to get a Tesla 100%. Like Just
You're
go grab
also
a
going to be able
Model
to shave
X.
on your car insurance because Lemonade just announced that they're going to lower car insurance by 50% for all Tesla full self-driving people.
That makes sense because like the safety of it compared
It's
to
7
normal
times
drivers,
safer than normal drivers. Like
yeah,
it should be
yeah,
15%.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's crazy. It
So
just
yeah, a
goes to
lot,
show,
lot of good
like,
reasons to buy a Tesla.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and they're only going to get better too. Like, they're only going to get better over time. The battery technology, the I really do think you're going to be able to use it as a computer, like at some point. Like, I think the design of the cars are going to get better. I think we're going to get rid of a steering wheel at some point, and you're just going to be
Yeah,
almost like bench seating. The front and the front seats and the back seats stare at each other with tables and stuff. Like that's coming. I'm
they
pretty
have a
excited
couple
about
of ones out that like that now. There's like an Amazon one that looks like that. It looks like a picnic table basically. You're sitting and talking to the people.
it. Yeah.
That's gonna be really fun. I don't need that type of seating. I know the robotaxi is more just a normal seating with no no steering wheel. But I think for the public transportation, the robo van, now that is going to be sweet, and we can just
Okay,
take the robo van around.
dude, it's going to be crazy. It's
I
going to
like
be a
it.
crazy time. I do too. You know what I really like, if I held silver at least, is its price performance. Have you seen that chart? How big those
Amazing.
candles are?
I
Those
finally got in
candles.
on silver 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I wish I put some more money in. I'm up, 25% on my regular one and I'm up 50% on my levered one.
Yeah, it's huge. These are crazy candles. The most
Over
insane
a
can I mean,
hundred now. People thought I couldn't get here. I mean, it was at 50 like a month ago or something.
yeah, yeah. It is doing a massive, massive catch-up trade to gold. Um, it really is. And I think these charts should be some of the scariest charts you've seen. Like, this does not happen in times of certainty. I'll put it that way. If you look at the 50-year charts of gold and silver, the
Yep.
only times they're directly correlated is mass fear hysteria. Let me give you some time periods.
Oh,
2008 to 2011. That
yep.
was the last time that they both were rockets. And the time before that would have been 98 to '02, right? And then back in the 80s. So it's like literally every 10 to 20 years, there's this direct
Interesting.
correlation that is one to one with financial distress. People are fleeing. It's the same trade. This is another,
It's
we covered it on
predictive
my
of major
channel.
major risk in the market.
It is. It absolutely is. And people are really making the same trade, the defacement trade. I talk about it a lot. People know that money is flooding the market. Just to give you guys an idea, across the globe, we went from 104 to 116 trillion in the last 3 quarters. So the entire world has released 12 trillion new dollars into the world.
It's a
And
lot. 12%
it's
increase.
an yeah, yeah, it's insane. We're in double digit year-over-year growth rates at the moment, 10.79%.
Is the US
So,
responsible for the bulk of that, or is it
well, the
China?
big beautiful bill was 4 trillion,
Okay.
right? So I
So that's
mean,
4 of 12.
we're 4 of 12, we're a third of it. China, absolutely. Russia to
Because you
finance the
always hear
war in
about China
Ukraine, the
pumping so much
EU.
money to fund their growth. I mean, they have all these buildings that are like empty, but they keep making them, and these crazy
Yep.
infrastructure projects and stuff like that.
Yeah, China's in a really bad spot. They're overbuilt. They have bankruptcies left and right at large banks, and they keep issuing money to dig themselves out. So they're kind of going through an '08 situation right now, and a lot of people don't talk about that. And
No.
you have Russia
Well, it looks good from
that,
the outside. You see the tech they're building and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, they have the coolest trains, the best bridges, whatever else. But they're funding it just with government money. I mean, we print money too, but they're doing it maybe even faster.
yeah, they're 10 years, 20 years ahead of our schedule, probably. Um,
Okay.
same story, different country. Russia and the EU have a war they're fighting. So I mean, there's just between those
Seemingly never
three
ending.
people, seemingly never ending. You know, So we have all this money coming out. Everyone knows that that means the US dollar is getting worse, cash is bad, especially large institutions. So they want to put it in things that go, that are, I guess, inversely correlated to money supply, which would be
Yeah.
gold, silver, metals, hard assets, real estate. Everything will
So in the
go up
past,
as
it's like a
these devices
hedge for that reason,
rise.
but now it seems like it's more of an investment. This rate of return that's growing is
Yeah.
nuts, astronomical.
Yeah, it's not normal. It's indicative of serious trouble ahead, in my opinion. But it is incredible returns.
The
People
one
are
thing I've been
just
hearing is it's
making.
not just about the risk, and I totally get the risk, all the geopolitical stuff that's happening, but how much more silver we're going to need for all these electronics in the future, and that we're going to have, exponentially more devices coming out, and everything's going to have, internet built into it and stuff like that, even, our clothes and everything. So we're going to need silver to basically, create the batteries and the tech, behind all these products.
If silver gets to some crazy valuation, what you're going to have is someone innovate around it because you cannot sell those devices at the prices silver would demand. So
Yep.
there's all these second order consequences a lot of people don't
That
take
makes
into
sense.
account. Like,
AI can make a
why
new
would I?
substance.
Yeah, why can't I just go to Grok and be like, hey, I no longer can afford these specific components. What can we build?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to stand. It's not going to stand. Like, I think it's ridiculous to assume that silver will hit 30, 40 trillion market cap purely because it's more useful than gold. Like, gold is useful. People use it, not as much as they use silver. The reason why it's at 34 trillion is because it has more value by weight and it's been around for 5,000 years. Same as silver.
Yeah.
It's been around forever.
Yep.
People just trust it, is my point. And if that trust, and this happens with Bitcoin too. People want to they want to put DeFi on Bitcoin. They want to blah, blah, blah. Like, realistically, store of value is its purpose and its use case. The minute these things start getting to a point where store of value is kind of second to its utility,
Uh-huh.
and then its price gets speculative and you're paying 3, 4, 500 an ounce, there is a 0% chance that it has any utility left because no one's going to be able to afford it.
That totally makes
So
sense to me because I mean, if electronic makers had to pay 10 or 20x what they're paying for their silver, all of a sudden they are going to have to find some way around.
they're not
It's,
going.
it's
They're
only
not.
it's only a matter of time that AI in general starts creating new substances for us. So I
That's
figure,
right.
you give a quantum computer the goal of creating a silver-like substance, and you give it a little bit of time, and probably come out with it.
And also, guys, silver has literally 4x and went down below where it was previously at. It's done this twice. So, like, it is a very weird asset. Rarely does it coincide with gold's price performance. And I think people are just trying to get that debasement trade and they're trying
Yeah,
to rotate into these smaller, it's the same thing we just talked about, the smaller cap opportunities because they're still hunting yield,
they're
but it's the
speculating for
same
that
trade.
alpha.
Yeah, but it's the same trade. It's the debasement trade.
Yeah.
Bitcoin hasn't caught that bid because of the quantum concerns.
Okay.
Quantum is
Could get
there's this,
broken.
yeah, people are worried about the 10 to 20% of the coins that are in hardware that have not moved. They're called dormant coins. So the holder died or it was lost, in the estate, or it's Satoshi, the gentleman that started the network or the group.
Yep.
All these coins are in such, primitive protocols where they're stored that they are quantum, I would just say they're at risk of quantum breaches.
That
So
makes sense.
people are freaking out over a 5 to 10 year definitive thing, and they're pricing it in.
So that's
And I
kind of on the
think
owners of those
Bitcoin,
to get those onto some, more secure storage. But if you have it in cold storage, it's never going to be, or I guess it could be encrypted to quantum level, but typically they wouldn't be.
yeah, or the Bitcoin, developer community gets off their ass, develops a different mindset, and forks the network and fixes it, which is a simple software update that Ethereum has done 10 times over. But
Okay.
the community of Bitcoiners is pretty dense. They have a They never want to touch it.
Interesting.
There's not as many core developers on Bitcoin as there is Ethereum, not even close. So this is actually a big divide in the community, and I think that debasement trade is not hitting Bitcoin because it's seen risky where silver is not, where gold is not risky in people's minds. But the reality is, if you're buying silver or gold, you're making a digital transaction anyways, and you don't own anything. So
Yeah,
I think
I'm just trading silver trust. I don't have any actual silver in my hands.
right, and that's what most people are doing. I think
The
people
people I'm
will
talking
get
to that
that.
are doing the actual silver, they're saying it's actually going to be more lucrative than owning some of the silver ETFs and trusts, specifically because at some point there's going to be a shortage, and then their hard silver will even be higher than the trust silver is, the spot price, I guess, or something.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, if you're in a transaction where the physical presence of it matters, But I mean, like the price of silver is the price of silver.
Yeah.
Over the counter silver. So silver in volumes might trade at a premium. Gold does that at times due to
Okay.
supply constraints. So if you're in the private market and you're trying to buy more than 500 or 1,000 kilos, and you're trying to work with institutions, as an example, sometimes instead of a discount, they'll trade at a premium because of that dynamic.
Makes sense.
And the premiums can be significant. Gold can see an 8, 10, 12% premium if
Wow.
there's a supply crunch. But it is cyclical, right? It's
Yeah.
completely cyclical. So who knows? I personally am not a mega silver
You're not in
bull.
metals
I
right
don't.
now, though, at all. Is that correct?
No, no.
Okay.
I mean, outside of jewelry, no.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll buy a gold watch that will appreciate.
Sure.
Luxury goods appreciate with
You're not wearing a lot of
inflation.
bling or anything. I mean, I don't have any bling on. I got my Apple Watch.
Just, I'm just a watch guy. I like my watches, but
I used to be a
um,
watch guy, and then I just went Apple Watch. I never looked back. I don't even know what to do with my watches. If anyone listening wants to buy my watch collection, I got a couple nice watches, but they're not being worn.
I might look at those. We'll have to. You'll have to send me some pictures. That's totally on brand for you, though. You're an Apple nut. That makes
I
perfect sense.
know. I couldn't imagine getting rid of my Apple Watch and losing my activity circles at this point.
Yeah, right, right. That
It
makes
does
sense.
help me stay healthy. This is it. It is my brand to be on point with Apple, but I'm
Yeah.
excited that I get more minutes logged in my workout. Already today I did flexibility. I went biking. I went swimming. I'm feeling great, and I got the Apple Watch data to back it up.
It gamifies it for you. I
It
get it.
does.
It's awesome. Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. So there's lots of stuff going on, everybody. We got great opportunities in the alt market. We got the big names that Brian just loves pumping. CoreWeave, Apple, Tesla. It's been a great
Oh
week.
yeah. No, lot happening this week. I mean, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple reporting. That is huge. I'm
Yeah.
expecting big things from all these names, and hopefully some good information on how they're not just scaling their AI, but also making some money on it. So that's going to be the game changer, I think, if they can prove some of these investments in these hyperscalers are actually turning into real dollars and ROI. That's where we're going to see some movement in these stocks.
I'm excited to cover that next week. Let's see how on point you were with it.
I like it.
I'll go on the record and say we will be crabbing next week.
Ooh.
It's gonna be another week of crab. That's where I'm at. We'll see if I
I'm
nail it.
not, as much as I love Tesla, I'm not calling that one to pop, but I do think we're going to see a pop in Microsoft, Meta, and Apple.
Huh. All right.
People give
You
so
heard
much
it here
pressure to
first, guys.
Tesla. I think the expectations are, pretty high, and there has not been any like massive profitable thing that's coming out. It's all about the future. It's all about believing in Elon and what his future vision is. So I'm a believer, and I'm sticking in.
I like it. I like it.
Always
Hard to
bullish.
bet against the guy. That's right. Bullish and beyond, baby.
Stay bullish, everyone. Until next week.
See you next week, guys.
Cheers.
Bulls. That's a wrap on today's episode of Bullish and Beyond. Remember, the market never sleeps, and neither should your ambitions. Whether it's stocks, crypto, or just leveling up in life, stay focused, stay bullish, and keep charging forward. Keep your energy high and your mindset bullish. This is Beery the Bull, your AI co-host, Brian the Mac Man, and JT Knows Things signing off. All content published by Bullish and Beyond, LLC reflects personal opinions only and is provided for informational purposes. Please conduct your own research and discuss with your accountant and/or financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The information presented should not be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors. Nothing you hear, see, or read in our content should be considered as any form of financial, investment, or legal advice, or a solicitation to buy or sell any assets, or to make any financial decisions.